Hello, everybody. It is Az here with Lucky Duck Games. It is so lovely to be here. And oh my goodness, I am bursting with excitement. You're probably going to need to turn your headphones or your speakers or your phone down right now because this is going to be an excitable and energetic stream. I can see lots of people saying hello. Hello, Rinvin Dashi. We're going to talk a lot about Carolina. And if you don't already do this, you should be following Rinvin Dashi on Facebook or on Instagram. Definitely on ArtStation, as we'll be talking a lot about the artwork of Carolina tonight. Hello, Susie. You've been looking forward to this. Yay! I've been looking forward to this as well. I cannot even begin to tell you. If anyone is here from the content creator world of Tabletop, I've been biting my tongue for a long time. A long time. Hello, everybody. Hello. I'm not going to try it. Zygemantis. No, sorry. I did my best. Hey, Charles. It's nice to have you here. Hello, Bree. Hello, Chrissy. So excited for this game. Oh, so much so. And I think you're going to be even more excited when I am done with this live this evening. Hello, Alex. Hola. Buenos dias. Buenos noches, I suppose, in the UK here from Mexico. Hello, Frank. Nice to see you. Ronak, namaste. It's lovely to see you, Ronak. Thank you for joining us in here. I had a lovely time streaming with you last time, sir. Hi! I honestly, okay, I'm going to try and keep my composure because this is going to be informative. We're going to be talking about Divinus. We're going to be going through some of the updates that were popped onto the campaign page today and answering your questions as well about the game because we're only 3 weeks away from launch right now. Hello, it's lovely to see you. Hello, Davey. And there's Jonathan as well. Jonathan, lovely to have you here, sir. Oh my goodness, thank you everybody for saying hello in the chat. That is so lovely and warm and wonderful to have you here. As ever, we're experimenting with Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, so it's great to see messages coming from everywhere, which is just wonderful. So, enough rambling from me. What are we going to do? We're going to talk a little bit about Divinus. And for any of you that have been living under a rock or haven't seen some of the little teases that we've been doing, it's our new Game Found campaign that's coming on the 27th of July. And it's from the designer, or at least one of the two designers of, there it is, Destinies. It's by Filip Mowinski, who was one of the two designers along with Michal Gobiowski on Destinies. And Filip has come up with something that is truly unlike any other game you've ever seen or played ever. And I'm going to be here to talk to you about it. Greetings, mortals. Very greetings to you, Morticia. John says waves and heart with fingers. Good evening from the Netherlands. Oh man, isn't the internet wonderful? Hello, Max. Greetings all the way here from the UK. So let's get into the page. So if you haven't seen it, we have a draft page now on GameFound that you can check out. And we're going to be updating it regularly over the next 3 weeks as we start to add more and more content, as we start to get reviewers releasing Let's Plays and games of the video. And you have Destinies, Frank. You haven't played it yet. And there's a lovely hello, Alex. It's lovely to see you. Hey there, I see games I watch. I simple man. Hey, doesn't matter how simple or complex you are. You're very welcome here, Alex. So we're going to be updating the draft page over the next 3 weeks and kind of putting more and more up there. And today we've kind of put some real details on there about what you can expect from Divinus. And I'm going to go through that with you now, step by step, answering any questions you may have and going through some of the nice details. Will it be on Tabletop Simulator during the Kickstarter? Well, first I will say it is going on gamefound.com rather than Kickstarter. So it's going to be GameFound just like we did with Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising. And unfortunately, it's very unlikely. No, it's not going to. I'm not going to tease. It's not going to be on Tabletop Simulator, and it's because it is a digital hybrid game. It needs an app on a mobile or tablet to actually run. Excuse me, sorry. So it's not something that's going to be suitable for that kind of tabletop simulation, basically. Max says Destinies. Frank is the best game ever. A lot of people have given Destinies a lot of praise, and we're so thankful. The entire team are massively thankful to the Destinies support. It has been overwhelmingly positive. Okay, I hope if I hit the right button. Yeah, okay. So get me out of the way and let's talk about Divinus. First thing, comments have just been turned on. So if you think of some questions, if you're watching this later after the live, or you think of some questions after the live stream, pop them onto the comments now, and we'll be there, throughout the day, each day, kind of coming in and answering questions as and when we can, because I'm sure you're going to have loads of them. If you don't already know, as I said, we're 3 weeks away from the launch of the campaign. If you follow the campaign, so if you have a GameFound account at gamefound.com and you log in and you simply follow the campaign, when we launch, you'll be given €5 of credit straight onto your account basically it's a thank you from us for showing your support and getting the buzz and being here for part of this experience and journey. So it's, to be honest, it's a no-brainer. Even if you don't back the game, you might as well follow it now, so at least you'll get notified when we go live and you have that credit. Oh my God, Destinies is so good. Lucky Duck is on fire. Thank you, Charles. And of course, like, I'm only really speaking about our crowdfunding. We've got our English, all of our English publications. We've got our French and our Polish as well. The company's having an amazing time. That's wonderful. Jeff says, show us the game, you tease. I'm going to tell you right now, I have my table. You see this? Oh, it's ready. It's ready. As soon as that, I haven't even got my prototype yet, but very soon, it's like so close. And as soon as I have it, it's going to that table and you guys will know about it. Don't you worry. Okay, Lionel, Divinus, what type of game is it? Let's talk about it. So I'm going to scroll down. So first things first, it's competitive. It's for 2 to 4 players. An average play time will be around 60 minutes. Sometimes a little bit shorter, maybe more like kind of 40, 45. Sometimes a little bit longer, more like 60 or 65, and 75. And the reason for this, obviously, is player count. But secondly, the reason for this is it's a legacy game. And I'll talk about this in more detail as we go through. But it's important to note that Divinus is going to grow as you play through the 12 scenario long campaign that's going to see Norse gods and Greek gods clashing. So let me set the scene. The strapline here kind of gives you a little bit of information, which is a clash between the Nordic and Greek gods is about to begin. Demigod, that's you guys and girls, this is your chance to ascend and claim a seat among the surviving pantheon. Because what is going to happen is we're seeing the Norse gods who have had to leave their lands through story arcs that might be revealed later, and had to leave, and they've decided that they're going to, instead of just disappearing into nothingness and being forgotten, they're going to invade the lands of the Greek gods, and the gods of the two pantheons are going to clash, and there's going to be a prophecy told by Pythia and an opportunity for demigods, you the players, to gain favor with the two factions. And over the course of the story and the campaign and the narrative and everything that you're going to do, one of you will ascend to join this new pantheon that forms from the outcome of the clash. So that's the setting. Hey, bud, be looking forward to this. Nice to see you, Toby. Liner says, you have my attention. Good. Keep it with me. And we can't wait, Pierre. Oh, much love, Pierre. So, scrolling down, let's talk about it. Fantasy, obviously. Mythology, obviously. Strategy. So some of you may think, is this going to be like Destinies? And the answer is no. Destinies is very much a RPG-like game of exploration, massive narrative, huge amounts of volumes of text and interaction with characters. Divinus is much more akin to a Euro, where you're going to be having a strategy and you will be using and manipulating dice and tiles and placement and powers and abilities and a growing plethora of abilities that you're going to choose for your demigod as you go through the campaign. So you will have a lot of more skill, a lot more decision making. There will be some narrative there, and there will be some story-driven decisions potentially that you make, but they'll all be underpinned by you actually playing physically the board game. So it's definitely going to be about logic, strategy, dice play. So with the digital hybrid side. So I've got at the top here, I'm going to read it. You can see it hopefully a little bit, but I'll say, Lucky Duck are extremely proud to present to you Divinus, a brand new digital hybrid game from the team that brought you Chronicles of Crime and Destinies. Now, what makes this really cool? If you don't know what we mean by digital hybrid, essentially what we're saying to you is we're taking a board game and we're making a custom in-house built by our programmers and our team internally brand new app that's designed to work with the game and enhance and give you an extra experience. And this app, I'm going to talk about in a little more detail later, will enhance the legacy, enhance the decision making, and give you real outcomes that will impact the actual game you're playing in front of you in a way that physical components never could. And we are super keen to keep making these wonderful, innovative digital hybrid games. That's a big part of what we as Lucky Duck as a studio and our team based in Poland primarily are aiming to do. Pierre has a great question. I'll tell you right now, I'll talk about it a bit more detail later, but yes, it is replayable. You will, when you finish the campaign, you'll be able to play indefinitely, as long as you like, in our eternal game mode. And I'll talk about that a bit later. Some minis, says Lionel. Just keep an eye on the page over the coming weeks. I have to keep some things stum. But I can tell you right now, we are working with some sculptors who we have worked with in our past campaigns who have done excellent work for us before, in the likes of Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising and the likes of Rift in Time, and also the likes of Destinies. So I will just say that yes, minis are something we are very keen to have in Divinus, but it will not be crucial to the gameplay. You will not need to have minis if you don't wish. That's all I'll say about that for now. So worth saying that we, Lucky Duck Games, will be producing and publishing the game in English, French, and Polish. So you'll be able to choose all three of these right here as part of the GameFound campaign. After the campaign's over, you'll choose your language in the Pledge Manager. So we launch on the 27th of July, but you'll choose your language after the campaign is over and we move it to the Pledge Manager stage. We are also looking at a German version. It'll be done with our friends at Spielschmiede. I'm going to say that name terribly wrong. I'm so sorry. Pronunciation is not my strong point. And we are looking to see if we can get other language support as well. But at the moment, it's these three by ourselves and the German edition that we can confirm right now. But we're always open to trying to look at bringing our games to more languages where it makes sense. Lucky Duck Trivia. What was the first game they made, Frank? My chair is just about blocking it. I'll say nothing. So, a little bit about what I said. Ancient Greece is being invaded by the pantheon of Nordic gods who have left their destroyed world in search of new land to rule over. A fierce clash of gods is about to begin, and a new pantheon will be formed from the ashes. The prophet Pythia foresees that one person of great power, a new Divinus, will ascend. As a demigod of great renown, you can win the favor of either side and claim your own seat among the gods. So, it is going to be competitive. And this is the first shot. I wonder if I can get this. Let's zoom in a bit. Yes. So this will give you a very small example of just the introduction to the game, scenario 1. Because what you're going to see is lots of boxes, lots of content that is going to be secret. Lots of it that's going to be revealed. Lots of it that may be destroyed or changed forever. Hands up in chat if you know what a legacy game is, because I'm curious. I feel like legacy is a pretty well-known term now, but if you don't know what it means, essentially it means you will be permanently changing the game as you go through. You'll be uncovering new stories, new quests, new gods, every scenario you go through, opening up a new box every time you play. So what you're seeing in front of you here... Hands up, Ben. Ben Clapperton of Steamforged Games may well have given me the best ever description of a legacy game about 3 years ago. And I think it holds true. You must be irrevocably, hope I pronounced that right, changing the game. And you will do that from the very start of Divinus. You will be writing your name on your demigod box. You will be sticking artifacts and titles to your demigod's character tuck box that you're going to have permanently for you throughout it. You'll be sticking stickers onto the tiles. You'll be modifying your dice. Oh, we're going to talk about it lots more. This game again. Board Game Shot. Matt, I love you, my man. It's great. And yes, Max, just like the pandemic legacy games, this is exactly the kind of thing that we're aiming for with the legacy. Susie says, yes, I've played legacy games and good on you. Legacy games are great, and we're very excited for this to be our first one. So when you're looking at the screen, what you're seeing, obviously the box. In the middle of the table, you have your giant game board. And this is where all the different tiles that the different demigods will be spending their dice to explore, taking tiles and placing them into their tableau, basically building their map of the areas that they're going to be exploring. Also on the board, you're going to find god cards. These are like end game conditions that you're trying to meet by having largest areas or most number of areas or completing certain tasks outlined by gods. In the middle, just above the map tiles, you're going to find quest cards that are going to trigger in the middle of the game as they're being played to the player that can achieve a goal first. So you're going to have goals in the middle of the game that you're working towards. You're going to have goals towards the end of the game that you're working towards. And you're going to have goals over the course of the campaign that are going to be changing your demigod and bringing exciting things and changing from game to game as you go through. So I'm going to talk about that in a bit more detail. Every player will have a demigod tuck box that you're going to customize and personalize. It's going to track the favor that you're gaining with the pantheons as you build yourself up and earn renown and favor with both sides. Potentially you'll lean heavily one towards the other and try to become the favorite of one of the pantheons, or potentially you'll try and keep both on a good side, because at the end, only the demigod with the most favor among all the gods of both Greek and Nordic pantheons will actually be the one that ascends. So you'll have to choose that strategy as you go through the campaign. So just to read it and reiterate a little bit, I'll just read it here. You guys can see it. But you take on the role of a demigod, exploring lands, permanently changing the world, and completing quests for gods of both pantheons to gain artifacts, titles, and favor. You're going to have tabletop mechanics such as tile laying. You're going to have dice manipulation, but you're going to have all those permanent changes that come with legacy games that we talked about. And then on top of that, unlike anything else you've had before, the app is going to be tracking you and tracking what you're doing. And we'll talk about that in a bit. So first of all, the campaign. So let's talk about the board game aspects of Divinus. So like if you're just playing this as a tabletop kind of game, what can you expect? So first of all, you're going to get a campaign. So 12 scenarios, as I mentioned. Every single one will have a new box with components and upgrades and stickers and changes that are going to happen. We will show during the campaign the first 2 scenarios, but that's all we're going to show. So you will find a bunch of your favorite reviewers and content creators out there. We'll get copies of Divinus and they'll be showing you off content at the beginning and during the campaign, but we're not going to go any more past that, because it very much will be a game of discovering and adventuring and reacting and learning as you go and reacting to what's going to be inside each one of these boxes every time you open them. And that could lead you to quests, it could be components, it could be stickers, it could be brand new mechanics, new rules. You'll be adding rules to the rulebook as you play through and changing the game's complexity and adding to it as you go through. So if you've not played a legacy game before, that's really at the heart of what makes Divinus such an enjoyable game to play. As I mentioned, you'll get the opportunity to fight for either side. You have the Norse and you have the Greeks, but you have factions as well that are busy playing out on the map tiles. And by exploring those tiles and bringing them into your tableau, into your map, you're basically going to be gaining support and building morale and courage and basically completing quests for those different factions. Alongside the Vikings and the Greeks, you've also got barbarians. So you're going to have an opportunity to either win over or sway or maybe take down or eliminate and interact with 3 different factions that could really sway the options and different decisions that get presented to you and the other players as you're playing through the campaign. If you want to, you can essentially switch back and forth, though. It's worth saying you're not going to be stuck to any one particular pantheon or any one particular faction. You'll be able to change that game to game, but you will still be aiming to be the demigod most favored of the 2 pantheons at the end. As we mentioned earlier, Pierre had that great question. Post-campaign, you'll be able to play with your unique final copy of the game in the infinitely replayable Eternal mode. So the changes that you make, you'll be able to then finish your campaign, and then that final mode, you'll be able to go back and play over and over again. And we're going to have rules that will help to balance that and make sure that there's a good synergy in whatever copy that your game ends up uniquely yours, doesn't end up too imbalanced for enjoying the game. You'll just be able to kind of reset some of that back, keeping some of the stuff you had, and playing again as many times as you like Divinus once the campaign is complete. Now, we talked about the legacy aspects. I want to go into a little bit more detail about what some of these are actually going to mean in terms of gameplay without giving too much of this all away. I hope I'm still live. Throw me a message in chat. Let me know if I'm still here, because everything seems to have locked up a little bit in my browser, but I'm hoping I'm still live. So please give me a wee wave if I am. So first of all, as I mentioned, you're going to be completing quests. So during each game you play, players will be racing to get certain goals by interacting with tiles that will then allow them to complete and fulfill a quest. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Ben. Looking at this image, oh, thanks, Max. So looking at this image, you will have opportunities, depending on the quests and the things that you do, to actually place stickers directly onto the map tiles, changing them permanently for the rest of the game. And we're talking about big, over 6 centimeters by 6 centimeters, 60 mil by 60 mil tiles. These are actually like twice the size of a Carcassonne tile, basically. And you're going to be applying stickers to these and changing them permanently. These can represent locations, they can represent people, they can represent events. And what's really cool about these stickers, we've actually developed stickers that are scannable with your phone. So when you're using the app to support your play, if you explore and visit a location again, the second time you go back to location and the sticker is already there, no matter who goes and explores that tile, you can scan it with the phone, or there's actually going to be the option to just enter a number if you prefer to do that instead of scanning. And you're then going to interact with that placed sticker, which means where you place it, How you decide strategically or just thematically to place the events and the interactions you have with, that will then have an impact on what players decide to choose from later. They won't just be the same tiles at game on game, they're going to change. Secondly, and this is where the app gets really cool, and I'll talk about this again a little bit more detail in a moment, but the app will remember who put that sticker on the board, who placed that location, who interacted with those people. And then in the future, depending on who goes back and then who visits that site again or who visits those people again, the app is going to react differently. And that's going to produce these lovely strands of decisions and opportunities for you to continue to support or continue to oppose in certain routes and avenues of play. Stunned, says Charles. Sorry, Charles. Good question, Frank. Will there be a stretch goal to have removable stickers like Gloomhaven? I can tell you with most certainty that our intention is not to have these stickers be removable. This is a legacy game. This isn't just you kind of updating a map so you can, come back and play it again. This is you altering physically the components of the game so it changes as you play and your copy becomes unique. So I can't say definitely not 100%, but I'm pretty adamant that that's not going to be a thing. We fully intend the game is made with the intention that you will be altering it as you go. So another big part of the Divinus campaign is the engine building. So I mentioned earlier that you're going to have a bit more strategy, you're going to have a bit more opportunity to tailor your characters. So everybody will start with a demigod, a blank demigod, basically, where you can write your name and start from scratch. One of the cool things you're going to be doing is getting artifacts. And you'll have the opportunity, I'm not going to say how, because I don't want to spoil too much, but you will be presented with opportunities to choose or gain, or as a result of your actions or your decisions, to come across artifacts that you can store on your tuck box, and you'll stick them directly into your backpack of your demigod on your tuck box. Din says, thoughts on a recharge pack akin to another legacy game, Charterstone. Brilliant game by Stonemaier Games. Refreshing the stickers on the dice and tiles might be a lot. Yes, it's something we've spoken about, Din, and to be honest, we may end up exploring it, but at the moment we don't see a need for it. As we've developed and been playtesting and working on the design of the game, it doesn't need it at the moment. The Eternal mode is sort of designed to allow you to play the game after the campaign. Show us the goodies. We're getting there, Carolina. We're getting there. I so want to play this, says Morticia, but we want to know why. Well, I know you do. I know, but I can't spoil too much. Honestly, there's so many blank spaces in the rulebook that when you get to the end of scenario 2, it's going to be changed so much. Oh, I can't. You need to enjoy it yourselves. Anyway, okay. Love the art. Can't wait to say more. Well, then you need to, right now, in the chat, every single person, look at Rin Dashi in chat. Rin Dashi, Carolina, is the main artist on Divinus. Her work is absolutely extraordinary. Follow her on ArtStation. See what she does. Just chef kiss. Big heart. Big heart to Carolina. And I have to give a massive shout out to our page designer and game creative director on this project, Matheus, who is just doing an astoundingly good job bringing this game together. Oh, I can't wait to share more about the team in the future. Anyway, see how easily I get tangented. Back to Divinus. Let's talk about the game. So you'll see in this very... Glory Hound, we won't tell if you spoil a little too much. Stop that. Stop that. Don't. I am awful for that. I've been very good this far. So the artifacts, you'll see you've actually got 3 slots for them. So you will be able to build up powerful combinations that are going to change your actions, give you extra bonuses as you're using your dice. And I should mention, actually, these dice, by the way, I've got a Destiny's dice here. And I don't know if any of you have played Destiny's, but we have these massively chunky, big. I have big sausage fingers, so my hand is big. These are chunky dice, and we're doing very much the same for Divinus to give you space to do what I'm going to talk about in a second. Here we go. Look at that for timing. Tangented straight in. Influence the odds. So the main resource in Divinus is your dice, which represent the power of your demigod, basically. And you're going to use them to explore the world, build your map, fulfill quests, fight monsters. Something I haven't talked about yet. But let's just say that there will be monsters. There will be. You may not see any on this page. You may see just a few when we go live. But generally speaking, we're going to keep a lot of it quite hidden. if you're into your mythology, I don't think you're going to have a big stretch to think about the kind of stuff we'd like to add into this Norse meets Greek clash. But you will be impressing the gods by your actions. And these giant oversized dice, one of the things you'll be able to do is use the legacy mechanics to change the faces of these oversized, big, chunky dice. You'll be able to put opportunities for much higher numbers than you could normally roll, or even flexible numbers where you can choose to have either or when you make certain decisions. And how your dice are going to work in the game is you're going to be combining them. So there'll be 12 tiles at any time that you can choose to purchase, to explore, better word, and place into your own map. And the goal to do this is to do this efficiently, to choose the right ones with the right factions and with the right terrain, and to match it perfectly into your 4x4 grid that you're going to be building up over the course of each game. By manipulating your dice and influencing the odds, you're going to give yourself more flexibility, because how you use your dice is you combine them to get numbers. So if I wanted to buy a tile on the 9th slot, for example, I could use a 6 and a 3. Or I could just have myself a nice 9 that I placed on my dice. Or I could have a 12 on my dice face, and then use a 3 to minus the number. So you can combine your dice, adding or subtracting to get a total, and then you spend those dice exhausting them to take a map tile and explore it. So using your dice when you roll them and then combine them is going to be a key part of your strategy, and short term and long term, how you manipulate your dice by forging them and changing them is going to really change how you play. They're oversized. I didn't even know that. I should put something to show this. Yes, really. Do you know what? We should. It's a very good point. They are big, chunky dice, and I think we will absolutely do that. It really needs a standard scale banana. I mean, it's the way to measure things, I find. I really, really love it. I love the idea of getting to change the dice. Yes, it's going to be a huge part of the game that's really going to influence your core actions that you'll be taking. So let me scroll on. So let's talk about the app for a little bit. So it's going to be available on Google and iOS. No surprise there. It will be mobile and tablet, smart devices, obviously. We are pretty good at keeping it relatively compatible against all of those. So we have a team, as I mentioned, internally at Lucky Duck Studio who program and test and bug find. I'm belittling the amazing work of Marchant, who does all of that for us. But yes, we will be making sure that this is ready on all mobile devices, and you'll need that to play with the game. One of the amazing things about that is these prophecies of Pythia. Because every time you start a new scenario, you're going to have a story. You're going to have a clash. You're going to have something happening in the world that you're going to have to react to. So, for example, you could have two gods at bitter ends clashing against each other in a fight of tactics or a fight of brawn. And what you do during that scenario in terms of your exploration and your interaction and the events and the quests that you complete and the gods that you appease at the end will determine potential outcomes. What god's epic weapon may end up available as an artifact? What title could be gained by a demigod who decides to bring peace or war or make some epic decision that swings the clash and the outcome of the final pantheon that gets formed? And the app is going to be controlling that. It's going to be following that. It's going to be tracking who's the favorite of the pantheons and what that means every time you interact. This, I cannot say to you how important and massively epic this is. It is a crucial part of the game, and it adds so much. When two different players visit the same site over the course of multiple games, you'll have different actions happening. You'll have different ways the gods will react to you depending on what you do. Not a pair, or we can't steal the reference pair of Shut and Sit Down. It is trademarked as far as I'm aware. Groby, how many time a years do you plan to maintain this app? So it's fair to say indefinitely, although I know that sounds silly. But we have made the Chronicles of Crime app, which now has 4 different games and 2 different expansions that's supported by it. We are essentially very, very keen that with Destinies as well and the app for that, and now the app for Divinus, that we maintain them and support them as long as we possibly can. If ever anything happens that Lucky Duck is no longer able to support them or able to maintain them, we will make them open source, widely available to everybody. If ever it happens that we're not able to continue the readily availability, if you ever can't get the app, we'll make sure you can. Obviously, we are dependent on Apple and Google for their software and for their systems. We don't expect, obviously, that to change anytime soon. But if something was to happen, we would react to that. So it's really worth noting that we have a kind of digital promise internally where we really do see a future for our company and our studio in digital hybrid games. So this is not just a one-off. This is our third app, and not even our third app. This is multiple iterations of many apps in development that we have done over the years from our history, even before Lucky Duck was even founded. So yes, hopefully that answers your question. It's hard to see the future, but they will always be available in some form. The world remembers. So I think, just to summarize a little bit of what I said, as you change the world with legacy stickers, the Divinus Companion app is closely following your actions. It remembers who built the fort, who destroyed the shrine, and reacts accordingly. Every time you explore a tile that has a sticker on it, you will scan it, or you can enter the number into the app. That works too. They can then interact with this place, character, or event, and may have unique opportunities based on prior actions that you've made, or things that you've done, or your current status with the Pantheons, or the faction, or the event that you're currently visiting. So it's really so vast, the flexibility this is going to have, and means whenever you talk to people who are playing their own campaign and you share stories, you're going to have vastly different experiences and things that you may never come across that they did, and vice versa. And that's really where some of the diversity and the enjoyment of the Divinus campaign is going to come in. This is for the techies out there. We're very proud of this, and I have to say it's incredible, and I'm so thankful that we have the wonderful Marcin as our lead developer, basically a programmer, who has developed this completely new image recognition that we're going to use with Divinus. That means we have these components that are going to be scannable, and you can scan them directly without needing any QR code. So the shrine will remember that. Oh my goodness, and Lucky Duck Gaming Tablet coming in 2022, preloaded with all the game's apps. Ooh, wowie. That's battle cry. That's quite the thought. Our CEO, who may or may not be watching, has probably noted that idea now and started working on that already. So when I'm saying about you'll be able to scan these stickers that are on your tiles as you're placing them, we mean that. We're trying to keep it aesthetic. We're trying to keep beautiful. We're trying to keep you in the world and keep it looking fantastic and wonderful. And this is one of the things that we've done with the Divinus app to try and add to that. We're very, very keen on our games looking amazing and playing amazing, and the app really adding to that. And this is another way that we're saying, okay, we've got this amazing app, but let's make sure that having that app is not impacting the actual tabletop experience. And we think that this small thing, not everybody's going to value it, but when you're playing with it, I think you'll really notice. And Ben, don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. Decide the fate of the gods. Your choices matter. So this is one of the coolest parts of the game. And I don't want to talk about it too much. But as I mentioned, let me scroll back up for a moment. On the game board here, you'll see in this little example, and this is kind of just a little bit of an example of what the first scenario may look like. You'll see at the top of the screen, I'm using my finger. I don't know why I'm using my finger. I'll use my mouse. There are 3 quests just here that will be completed by the first player to achieve the goal in the middle of the game. When you complete a quest, you are going to use the app to make a decision right there and then. Right in the middle of the game, you will make a call about an outcome of something happening, and it's going to change the game in the middle of it. But I'm Marcin! I was just bigging you up. I'm forgetting your job title, as I always do. Marcin arrives either during or just after I finish the image recognition technology chat. Hope you didn't hear me blundering through it. So when you complete a quest, you're gonna basically go into the app, and you're gonna then, right there, as the person completed it, read out to everyone around the table a decision point that you're going to get to make to decide what then happens. And I don't want to go into any detail what these are going to be like. You're going to get to see them in a couple of the how to play videos that come out, and then you'll get to really experience them for yourself. These are going to be a key critical part of the ongoing theme and narrative that's there and building in the world as the 2 pantheons are coming together. And you'll really, really be having a world impactful moment every single time that a game is progressed. And if a quest doesn't get fulfilled, it will get destroyed or potentially donated, essentially, or carried over in some way at the end of each game. So these things aren't just going away. You know, if Thor says, you have to go and find me, you know, a big barrel of mead, go and gather them up, I want to have a big party. he's not going to forget about it. Someone's going to have to fulfill that quest. Someone's going to have to do it, and that's going to really have an impact who does it, and it'll stay there until somebody does, or until it's passed on to the person who nearly did it, for example. As I mentioned, and this just to finalize this little chat about Divinus, we're doing it in English, French, and Polish, but we haven't got a confirmed date yet, but we will be working with Spiel Offensive to have a German edition of the game. So that is a very high-level, brief overview of Divinus. If you have questions, pop them to me now. I want to show a little bit of artwork. I want to show a little bit of new artwork. I've been fighting with the game devs who are wonderfully good at keeping secrets, way better than I am. And they're going to let me show a few new gods that I've not shown before. The great thing, obviously, is with Greek and Norse mythology, we have so many amazing gods that we can look at. And with the amazing work of Carolina Rinvindashi doing so much of our artwork on the demigods and on the gods themselves, we've got a plethora of world to explore into. Hello, Tomac. Any spoilers at the end? I do have a tiny, tiny spoiler, actually. I do have a tiny spoiler, but I'll come back. So I've got a couple of new gods I want to share. So give me 1 second. Let me bring these up for a moment. So we've seen this gentleman before. This is Ymir. Just wow. Like, this is so every god is going to be having a moment, an epic scenario in time, an epic clash, or an epic quest, or an epic something tied to them that you're going to get opportunities to interact and decide the fate of gods at times. You're going to show some gods I don't know about. Maybe, Jonathan, maybe. This is Thor. Ready for that party. Yeah, I got to go to a bar with him. Heather says, is this suitable for playing as one person with 2 characters or players? So Heather's a really good question. It is a competitive game. So it is, we are saying Divinus is 2 to 4 players. It is designed to be demigods racing each other to gain favor and to become the one at the end of the campaign that has the most to ascend. And only one player will ascend. It's absolutely possible for you to play more than one demigod. If you're on your own, that's totally doable. But we're not looking to design the game for solo play. That's not something we're doing. We are really making this a 2 to 4 player experience. That's the way it's being designed. Totally possible, but it's not really what we'd recommend. And he says, question, will you be able to buy reset packs if you run 2 entirely separate campaigns, family and friends, for example? It's a great question. So at the moment, no, we do not have a recharge pack planned. However, small spoiler, here we go, small spoiler. So as I mentioned, there's an Eternal mode. There's the campaign, 12 scenarios through the campaign. Then there's the Eternal mode that after the campaign you can play. I'll tell you right now that you're actually going to be able to flip the main board over. There will be an entire second board on the other side. Now, you'll have to keep track during the campaign to find out all the different details about what's going to be involved with that. But I can say that alongside the campaign and alongside the Eternal mode, we're also going to have some myths. These will be one-off play scenarios that are kind of like taking a little legacy game where you're taking a very special little pack with a special story and theme and setting that you can play as a one-off experience. That's not tied to the campaign, and it's also not just a normal game. It's actually custom-made for that. So we're really focusing on the campaign with the infinitely replayable Eternal mode afterwards. But then if you also want to spice it and spice it up, if you back the campaign, we're going to have some of those extra one-offs as well. You got it. This is Ares. We've shown these before. If any of you have been keeping track, we've shown these before. You've seen Ares. Look at that, Mike. You've seen it. That is Gaia, looking absolutely amazing. I adore the texture of this. The mixture of the water and the leaf and the wood and the curves, it's just, it's wonderful. But something new that has not been shared at all. I finally got permission. Any guesses? Any guesses who this is? If I was to say the Queen of Asgard, essentially the priestess of all priestesses. Ares was based on As. True story. It's, below this always blue meeple is nothing but it's nothing but chiseled spear chucking Sith. Good guess. Not Sith, Yosek. Not Sith. Freya. I don't know if I'm going to tell. If no one gets it right, I think I'm just not going to tell. What I will, so I did say a little bit about spoilers. I gave a little bit of information, but I got a little bit more since I've started, right? Since you, hey, heart with fingers. Woohoo! Well done, Yosek. Yeah, there we go. Everyone's got it. Isn't this stunning? Isn't it stunning? Yes. So it is indeed Freak. She will feature in the game. I'm not going to tell you how. I'm not going to tell you the impact. I can't tell you the story or the scenario. I can't tell you anything. This is all I've been allowed to show you, okay? It's a legacy game. You're going to have to discover it on your own. But I mentioned earlier that as you play through the scenarios, you will be encountering monsters. You'll also be encountering heroes and, myths and legends. It's mythology after all, right? And I want to show you a god who has a particular creature that I'm a massive fan of. And I've never seen this creature drawn this way. And when I did, I was blown away. Any guesses on who either of these characters are? This is honestly, Carolina, if you're still in the chat, when I saw this artwork, I've got a big blank wall over there. Okay, Rodney, discover on my own. Michael, straight in. It is indeed Hades. And do you know who the pupper is? Very different. Big pupper. Big pupper. Big pupper. Michael is on point. Oh no, Glory Hound actually had it first. Well done. That is Rinrindashi, or Carolina's Cerberus, which I just adore. Oh, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. Isn't this just, magnificent? Should have 3 heads. Well, technically, 3 sets of eyes, 3 mouths, 3 tongues. He's got 3 heads. What's a skull? What's a skull between puppers? So, if you haven't done it already, somehow, if you haven't done it, go and check out for yourself the campaign page. Let me link it to you, because I'm doing a terrible job of that. I'm going to pop it into chat right now. There it goes. If you haven't done it, check out the draft page for yourself. As I mentioned, over the coming weeks, we're 3 weeks away from launch right now. Over the coming weeks, we are going to putting more onto the page. We'll be releasing more information. We're starting to have our magnificent content creator and collaborators out there starting to release content. All of their copies are on their way. So you'll be able to dive in and see even more as we go through. If you have questions, please feel free to pop them in the comments on the campaign. We'll be there usually during office hours in the EU here to answer your questions and reply. Embark and embrace all of your ideas, as all the fun of the crowdfunding campaign is. If you have any questions for me now, please feel free to pop them in the chat and I'll do the best to answer. Or if you're watching this later on Facebook or YouTube, pop it in the comments and I will do my best to come back and answer as well. This is really the start of something kind of epic, kind of different, really something super unique and super engaging, and really pushing the boundaries and taking everything that we've learned from Chronicles of Crime, everything we've learned from Destinies, and putting it into something really new and exciting with Divinus. It's really a great time. Love the plushie collection. Yes, I've been renovating. This is my new sofa bed, which is now my plushie corner. I'm not sure if it's going to stay or not. Or what we're going to do, but we definitely need to continue decorating, and I definitely need some of Carolina's artwork on the walls. Approximate delivery date, says Max. So I need to confirm this, but I'm pretty sure we are aiming for our usual. We want to really do it about 12 months after the campaign. So I need to 100% confirm that, but I think looking at like August 2022 is certainly feasible. Please don't hold me to that. We'll confirm that during the campaign. We'll make sure that's on the campaign page, because I'm not sure 100% that's going to be right. Should we expect any add-ons / expansions? You should. I'm not going to lie to you. You should. Oh, can I spoil? Can I spoil? Okay, just for a second, all right. Divinus is about the clash between the Norse pantheon and the Greek pantheon. right? But it's worth mentioning. It's worth to stop that. It's worth mentioning that the story about what resulted in the Norse gods having to leave their lands and come to the Greek gods pantheon, have to clash in the first place, is something that we're kind of keen to explore a little bit of. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Loads of questions. Those squishmallows in the background. These are there's a whole I've got the Dice Tower Panda, Dice Tower Cat. They've got some Among Us, some Lion King, some Groot, some Pusheen eating pizza. I've got some little haggises. Those are little furry haggises. Got 3 of them. That's the Exploding Kittens rainbow blah 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 scarf. And then that is a Fire Phoenix from Elemental Uprising. One of a kind, hand stitched by one of the designers of the game, Helena Hope. Amazing. That's Ted, that's Baymax, and that is another handmade Hobbs from Calvin and Hobbs, for anyone that wants to know. Can we get a Cerberus plushie? Oh my god, I want it. Oh, okay. If anyone from Lucky Duck is in the office, prepare for a business-wide email tomorrow. I want a Cerberus plushie. Yes, I do. Can we get a plushie? I mean, that's enough for me. 2 people request it. Any minis to paint. So I don't want to give too much away because we're still 3 weeks away from the campaign, but I will say there will be the option to have minis if you want them. That's all I'm going to say. The moment you suddenly realize you're 10 minutes behind in the live stream and answering things at the wrong time. Alex, I was wondering. I didn't want to say it. I assumed you were going through a tunnel. Love you, man. Whenever you see this 10 minutes from now. Can't wait to test play for you guys. Ideal. Good tease. Ragnarok. Groby, good question. Any other mythology involved in the expansion? I don't want to say too much, but at the moment, we're probably very much going to be focusing Divinus on these 2 pantheons, I will say. Good tease. Please, plushie. 100% plush. I mean, to be honest, what I just need is all of you to rally people in the comments on that campaign page, on that draft page, and start asking for plushies. Because if enough people ask for plushies, I will make sure there's plushies. I love me a plushie. No questions, just very excited for the game. Oh, thank you so much. That's your copy's on the way to you. I'll go back later. Downsides of being at work and having occasionally to pause. Yeah. That's just a wee pause for Alex, just so we can enjoy that later. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming. This was really good fun. Thank you for all of your questions and for all of your chat and energy. This is really the beginning of starting to share more over the coming days and weeks. You can expect some artwork. You can expect to see a little bit more of the game. It's going to be an unusual campaign, of course, because it is a legacy game. We're going to have to be careful. We don't want to ruin the epic story and all the things you're going to uncover and all the teases. So we're going to be very careful that you can really enjoy it and experience it yourself in the tabletop, because that's really what this is all about. But I very much hope to be able to share a little bit more, and I'm sure we will, over the next 3 weeks as we build up to the campaign. All right. Any final questions before I wrap up? And then we're going to say goodbye for the evening. I think I'll be back next week. I'm going to try and twist the arm. Of game designer Philippe Mowinski to come and join me on a live stream at some point, so we can really delve in and ask him some questions. But I might wait until the campaign is up and running. Ben says thank you and good night. Thank you, Ben. Lovely to have you stopping by. Thank you so much, sir. And Rinrin Dashi. If you don't follow Rinrin Dashi on ArtStation or on Facebook, do it. Do yourself a favor and do it. Okay. Good night, everyone. It was lovely to see you, and I cannot wait for this campaign. Go and check out GameFound. Do it. Do it now. That was my full screen desktop, but okay. There it is. Oh, glorious. Oh, man. No, wrong one. This one. If you wanted to. Keep track. They'll teases to come. Have a wonderful night. Goodbye.